Look at your drawings. Do they feel flat, flimsy, or stuck on the paper? The reason isn't a lack of talent or bad hatching technique. It's because you are trying to draw complex, organic subjects without understanding the fundamental unit of three-dimensional space, the cube. When classical masters look at a human head, a draped fabric, or a complex piece of architecture, they do not see contours or flat shapes. They see solid, volumetric masses occupying space. And the simplest, most rigid container for space ever devised is the humble cube. A cube forces you to confront reality. It has 6 distinct planes, precise edge directions, and an inescapable relationship with perspective. If you cannot rotate a simple cube in your mind and project it accurately onto paper, you will never be able to rotate a human head, a nose, or a torso in dramatic perspective. Every complex structure in nature is merely a cube that has been sliced, stretched, or deformed. To master constructed drawing, we must stop guessing contours and return to the box. To draw a cube that feels genuinely heavy and spatial, you must master 2 invisible forces, the horizon line and your vanishing points. Imagine looking at a flat plane directly at eye level. As you tilt your head down, the horizon line moves up relative to your frame. Every parallel line running into the distance must converge toward a single point on that horizon. When constructing a box in 2-point perspective, start with the leading edge, the vertical line closest to the viewer. This edge establishes the scale and vertical anchor of your form. From the top and bottom of this line, project converging orthogonal lines back to vanishing point left and vanishing point right. Notice what happens when you alter the spatial pitch. If the box is placed high above your horizon line, you reveal its bottom plane in a dramatic underview. If it sits below your horizon, the top plane opens up, giving you a top-down view. The critical secret to avoiding distorted, awkward boxes is controlling your convergence angles. Parallel lines in reality must never diverge in perspective. They must subtly taper as they recede into space. Keep your vanishing points far enough apart to prevent harsh, unnatural distortion. And always verify that your vertical lines remain strictly parallel to the gravity axis unless you are working in 3-point perspective. Once you can draw a stable box in any orientation, the real power begins. Using the cube as a sculpting block. To manipulate a cube in 3D space, you must learn the X-cross method. To find its true perspective center, draw 2 diagonal lines connecting opposite corners on any rectangular plane. The intersection of those lines marks the exact geometrical center in perspective space, regardless of foreshortening. Using this center point, you can bisect planes with surgical precision. Want to slice a cube in half? Find the X center, drop a vertical line, and project it to the vanishing point. Want to rotate a box inside another box? Enclose the primary form inside a bounding box. Establish the inner pivot axis, and project new vanishing points along the horizon line. You can carve away corners to form wedges, chamfer edges to create octagonal blocks, or stack smaller subcubes onto its faces. Think of this process like digital 3D modeling or stone carving. You are not drawing lines. You are performing volumetric subtractive sculpting. Every slice you make must respect the established vanishing points, ensuring that the new complex form retains total spatial integrity. Now, let us bridge the gap between abstract geometry and high-level portrait art. How does cube logic transform a portrait? A human head is inherently round and organic, making it notoriously difficult to draw in perspective. But when you wrap that head inside a bounding cube, everything becomes clear. The front plane of the bounding box holds the flat mask of the face. The side planes define the temporal region and the ears. The top plane marks the crown of the cranium, while the bottom plane locks in the underside of the jaw. When you tilt a head in extreme foreshortening, do not start by drawing the eyes or the nose. Start by tilting the bounding box. Once the box is tilted correctly in perspective, every facial feature inherits the exact same spatial orientation. The brow line, the base of the nose, and the lip line simply become parallel slices running along the front plane of your box. The eye sockets become hollowed-out cubic cavities carved directly into the front-facing mass. When you shade your drawing, the cube logic dictates your light source. One plane faces the light. One plane transitions into mid-tone, and the opposite plane falls into deep shadow. Your cross-hatching is no longer decorative. It becomes structural wrapping that reinforces the planes of the box. Master the cube, and you unlock the ability to construct any object, from any angle, purely from imagination.